Have you ever been the new kid before? The one who doesn't know anyone and doesn't have a place to sit at lunch? Well, I have, and this is my story about how I got through that time in my life. Do you see that green star? Well, that's Flora, Indiana, the small town that I grew up in and where my story really begins. Flora is just like any other small town in the Midwest. It had a population of 2,000. It was one of those towns that people just drive through and completely forget about. There's tractors on the road, only one light, and it wasn't even a stoplight. It was a flashing light. It's one of those towns, the ones you forget about. But to me, it was home. It was the place that I loved. I knew the local shop owners, the volunteer firefighters. We were all close, and we knew each other. The best part was my school, Carroll Junior Senior High School. I had gone to elementary school there too. It was small and I loved it. My graduating class was 56 and I knew pretty much everyone's first and if not middle name. It was familiar and it was tight-knit. It wasn't like one of those schools where there were cliques and you didn't hang out with everyone. We all hung out a lot actually. And I was in the top 10 of my graduating class. I played tennis. I had great friends. My life was awesome. It's exactly the way that you would want it to be in high school. But then my whole world came crashing down. My mom, she met this guy, and I was so happy for her. She was so in love with him, and that was awesome. But then they decided to get married, and it was the summer before my junior year of high school. The craziest part was that he had a job in Wisconsin, and my mom, she was gonna make us move. So that was it, right before my junior year. We packed our bags and headed off on a new adventure to Stone Bank, Wisconsin, a super small town. I mean, I thought Flora was small, but this town was even smaller. I was somewhat excited though. At least it would be familiar. It kind of reminded me of home. My new hometown might have been familiar, but my new school was completely different. It was a massive school. I went from having a graduating class under 60 to having a graduating class of almost 600. I was completely blown away. There were 2 campuses. What on earth was I going to do? How was I going to find my way around? To say I was terrified would be a complete understatement. I had no idea what to do. Truthfully, I was a bit naive. I thought that I was going to walk in and it would be somewhat like my old school. People would come up to me and be like, "Oh, hey, you're the new kid." That's at least what I thought would happen. But it really wasn't, which made the next couple of days a little bit stressful. I didn't meet anyone. In fact, the first 3 days of school, I ate alone in the lobby. I didn't even know how to find the lunchroom. I couldn't even find the bathrooms. And in the morning, I didn't know where my locker was. I asked the teacher for help, and he couldn't find it either. It was horrible. It was stressful, and I was so lost all the time. I didn't know what I was going to do for the next 2 years of my life. My first day was so rough that I just couldn't wait to go home. Even though I really didn't feel at home there yet. I just wanted that day to be over. When I finally did make it home, I broke down crying as soon as I got there. My mom tried to comfort me, but I really didn't feel any better. But the next day, I decided that I was going to go to school and try my best to speak to at least one person. Maybe they'd be my friend. Maybe I could tell them I'm new, and they'd invite me to sit with them at lunch. So that's exactly what I did. The next day, I walked straight up to this girl who I had never talked to before and was like, "Hey, I'm new and I'm not really sure where the restrooms are. Could you tell me where to find them?" And that's how I met Brittany, who's now one of my closest friends. Just that one simple branching out helped me. She actually was new too and didn't know where the bathrooms were. But she introduced me to her friends, and I ate lunch with them. And the next year, I made more friends, and I joined clubs, and I really just got out of my shell and met a whole bunch of new people. Sure, it was a difficult road, but I definitely made it, and it was so worth it. So if you're ever going to be the new kid, or you were the new kid and you're not sure if things will work out in the end, I can assure you that they do. Yeah, I moved, and yeah, it was crazy, but I made lifelong friends, and I wouldn't change it for anything. Remember, life is what you make it. So no matter what's going on, the sun will come out tomorrow, and you can always have a better day. I hope that my story in some way gives you hope that things really can work out.